Now we're going to talk about a new abstract data type that will hopefully make all that suffering through recursion worth it. Not suffering, we all had fun, right? And that is a tree. So, just a recap, going back to our linked lists, we had this linear structure that looked like this, and then some terminating node here. All right, so we're going to take that idea and just expand on it a little bit. So now what we're going to have is, and I'm going to draw this from top to bottom now. We're going to have a node with potentially multiple references. So this top one I'll have with 2 references, and this will point to, let's say, something with 3, 4 references. And these will all point to other nodes. In fact, maybe some of them don't point to anything. Do one more here. And, whoops, maybe this one terminates here, and this one goes down, and these arrows are just referring to other nodes going down. So each of these tree nodes here can have 0 or more references. Like we could have, like, the start of our tree just maybe doesn't actually point to anything. And that would be okay too, just like a linked list that only has 1 node in it. So some terminology. This node at the very top is known as the root of the tree. And you may be wondering, wait, why is the root at the top of something called a tree? That's not how trees work. Well, I drew that up here. The way that you're supposed to think about trees, apparently, is that they're upside down. I'm guessing whoever developed this lives in Australia, where everything's upside down. And so the root is at the top, and the leaves are at the bottom. So I drew this is actually a pretty wonky tree here. Let's do something a little bit cleaner. That was just to kind of demonstrate that trees can have a lot of different types of structures. But let's do something very simple here. And we'll just have these 3 nodes like that. And again, some of them can keep going down, and some of them can just not have a reference on that node. That means they don't keep going down in this path, but they can keep going down, pointing to other nodes along these paths. So the top one is the root. And then we say that with respect to a node that's being pointed to is its child. So this node would be the child of the root. And we would say that this one is a parent. Now, the parent doesn't have to be the root. This node is right here. This is also a parent to this child that would be down here. So the terms parent and child are relative to the pair of nodes that we're talking about. But a parent is a node that is one node closer to the root than the node that is its child. That is, if we had some other node down here, this node here is 1 node closer than this one here, and so this one would be the parent, and this one would be the child of this pair. So some other terminology that you'll sometimes see is that when you have 2 nodes that are on the same level, like this, they are siblings. it's a pretty natural terminology, unlike root being at the top. And any node that is closer to the root along some path going up is known as an ancestor. So if we're looking at this node here, its ancestor would be its parent or the root. So anything that's going up along some path here toward the root is an ancestor. And likewise, if we're going in the other direction, it's a descendant. So this node down here would be a descendant of the root. In fact, every node is a descendant of the root, but this node would be descendant of any node that's along the path from the root to it. And we also have levels. So we start at, you'll see sometimes they do level 0, sometimes it's level 1. I'll just do level 1 here. And then this would be level 2 of the tree. So we can think of kind of creating these sections in which any node that is a certain number of steps away from the root belongs on the same level. So even if they don't share any ancestors except the root, so like if I had a node down here, this node here, and this node over on the right, the only ancestor they share is the root, but they still are on the same level. And then the height of the tree is the number of levels that we have to the lowest leaf. So along some branches, there might be some that go much deeper down than others, and whatever that maximum depth is across the entire tree, that would be the height of that tree. So pretty natural terminology. I think a lot of it, of course, being borrowed from family or ancestral trees. But the key idea here is that we are deviating from our linked list by allowing for multiple references inside each of these nodes that are being connected to each other. So because of that, like linked lists, trees can be traversed recursively, as we'll see in the next video.